Hello, everyone. Kevin here. And are you ready to elevate? Here we go. Elevate Mastermind members. I recently scored a bunch of applications for a scholarship. I'm on a scholarship committee for a local university here. And something that really stood out is the kind of strain that these students have on their mental wellness. And I know this has been a big theme for a long time, but it couldn't help me. I mean, it definitely made me want to say something about this because, these are fairly younger students, but the way that they have been indoctrinated is going to affect them, right? Um, the victim mentality, as far as like, everything is happening to me. There's nothing I can do about it. I really need some help because of the situation. I have empathy for that, and it was very heartwarming. But I thought, this might be a good Elevate Mastermind because as we hire people that come into our organizations, a really good way to help combat that where when things get too stressful, we shut down and quit kind of thing, or we wither away, or if someone's not recognizing the, very specific things about me as an individual, that makes me feel sad. And the real world is just not like that. I mean, not in the business world. The real world is all about serving your clients, serving your customers. So something we can do kind of proactively. I mean, I hate to say to screen that mindset out, but to really see a light click at least during the interview process is you ask them things and you say, who is responsible for that? Right? If you were to say, if you were coming into work and you got a flat tire and you were late, who is responsible for that? And they need to say, me. They need to say, I am. And if they say, well, I had no way of controlling that, then we say, well, are you responsible for how you react to it? What would be your next steps? It's a very powerful question for people just one to have good emotional health. How am I responsible? I used to teach, I still teach a put a post-it note on your mirror and it says, how am I doing today on a scale of 1 to 10? And then if it's less than a 10, how am I responsible for that? And you're like, okay, this is what self-responsibility is all about. I'm really big on always having self-responsibility as a cultural statement in the organizations that I build or have run. Self-responsible. You are responsible. And as the business owner, we can take this a little farther. Um, so anyway, that tip there when hiring, it can help. But as the business owner, right? If numbers are down, how am I responsible? If the culture is off, how am I responsible? Right? If the sales team isn't doing their job or you're not doing a good job, how am I responsible? That question immediately takes away any sort of victimhood, and I don't mean that in a negative sense per se. It's just a mindset. Am I going to take responsibility and see what I have to do, even though this was really painful at the time, and move forward? Or am I going to say, oh no, poor me? Because that just gives us an excuse to not do better, right? It's kind of a hardline approach, but it's true. How am I responsible? That's how you succeed in business. Everything. If you're at the top, everything is your responsibility. If there's a tornado that knocks your building down, okay, I can't say I'm responsible for that. I mean, I guess I did move into a tornado zone and knew that was a risk. I should have been more responsible for having a backup plan. But let's say something's totally out of our control. Remember, we can always say, okay, how am I responsible for my reaction to this? What can I do better next time? So that's the key today, whether hiring a younger generation that may have been taught this, things happen to them versus for them. Um, it's something we need to look out for. So this call is about helping to screen the ones out that have that mindset or help the ones and you see the light turn off where, okay, am I responsible? And number two, anything that is not going good, um, especially that's in our control, right? Anything that's not going well in your business is your responsibility. How am I responsible? All right, have a great day. Bye bye.